These are the first images coming in of what Ukraine says was a Russian bombing of a maternity hospital and children's ward in the southern port city of Mariupol. Ukrainian President Zelensky says that there are children under the rubble. There are no known military targets anywhere near this hospital.
During these tough times, it's common to suffer from anxiety, depression, insomnia, and other mixed feelings. But few people talk about it. Maybe the reason why they remain silent is that it's hard to express our feelings when we see the skies raining missiles, destroying the war homes, destroying the beautifully painted schools, destroying hospitals where babies have their first cry, and where others say their last goodbye. Destroying places with memories people miss. Destroying the streets where lovers gave their last flowers and had their first kiss. Olha Timoshuk is my guest from Ukraine. She's a permanent resident in Canada and she lives in London, Ontario. She describes her feeling when she turned on the TV and saw Kiev being bombed.
I started crying. I was crying, like I fell down on the bed and just cried. I was just like in hysteria. I don't know. Like I was just crying. I got a strong feeling of fear, anxiety. Like my heart was beating very fast. I couldn't. I was very, I don't know, upset. Upset is not the word. It was heartbreaking. And I was very afraid of my family, like my relatives, friends, and everyone. And at the beginning, maybe the first week was very hard for me. I didn't want to eat, like at all. I lost the appetite. I didn't want to sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I had a thought in my head, like constant, why I'm not with my family right now. I have to save them, no matter what, and I don't know how to do that.
The Russian invasion to Ukraine continues. The death toll is rising, and sanctions are being imposed on Russia. And when it comes to foreign affairs, we see hundreds of Canadian leaders, including 4 MPs from London, are on Russia's blacklist. Peter Fregeskatos, the Member of Parliament for London North Centre and the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of National Revenue, comments on that.
My comment is that I'm honored. The fact that myself and my colleagues have been banned from entering Russia means that we are doing our jobs, because we are standing by the Ukrainian people. We are speaking out against the tyranny of the Vladimir Putin regime and the gross violation of human rights. If there are Ukrainians listening, I want them to know that not just myself, but every member of parliament stands with the country at this time. We listened to President Zelensky yesterday in parliament. I've been an MP now for almost 7 years. It's one of the experiences that will stay with me throughout my career and probably the rest of my life. So I'm thinking about them, and I know that the community is behind them as well.
Taking care of war victims is our duty now. We, the people who live in peace. Tala Sharab is a Palestinian psychology graduate from the University of Cambridge. Tala is also a social media activist who helps war survivors to manage their mental health. I asked Tala, what is the best way to support war survivors mentally and emotionally?
It really depends on the person offering that support. So it depends on how close is that person to the war survivor. If you're a friend, if you are a family member, you consider yourself close, you should give them some time. Let them validate their emotions and then ask them what they need. What kind of support are they expecting from you? Do not assume, ask. That's the number one rule. Some people would benefit from professional help immediately, after a few months, after a year. Others require longer, and that all should be respected. Each individual, after they have experienced a traumatic event like war, they need different things. And the best way to go around this is to ask that person. Then we should respect their decisions and support them in the way that they want to be supported.
War is not just taking a place in Ukraine. It's happening in Palestine, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan, and in many other places around the world we live in. The pain sounds very loud there, but it echoes everywhere. Remember that victims are not numbers, because every soul has a story, and every story matters. For In Your Backyard, I am Sarah Abukash.